job options for moms who want or need to work. My name is Bree Weiler-Reynolds, and I'm the Director of Online Content at FlexJobs, and I'm very happy to be speaking with you all today. Just a little bit of info about what we're going to be covering. First, I'll give a quick introduction for myself and my company, and then I'll talk about what are flexible jobs, the top career fields that are hiring for them, the companies that offer flexible jobs, and then how to go about finding flexible jobs, how to get started in your job search, different ways to job search, and how to avoid scams. And of course, I'm going to have a mom focus for all of this. As a mom myself, I'm very happy to do that, and hopefully the information will be really informative for all of you. So first, a little bit about FlexJobs. It was founded in 2007 by our CEO, Sarah Sutton Fell, and she founded the company when she was pregnant with her first child and was looking for a job that offered flexibility. She wanted to work from home. She wanted to have a flexible schedule, and she was really frustrated at how difficult it was to find those listings in a traditional job search. So she's looking online. It's filled with scams and bogus business opportunities and all of that sort of stuff, and she thought there should be a place that you can go find all of these types of flexible jobs in one place. And that's where the idea for FlexJobs came from. Flash forward to today, and FlexJobs has over 50 staffers who all work from home, and we've helped almost 1 million job seekers in their job searches and quest for a more flexible job. We also have almost 30,000 companies who have been researched and vetted on our site, and a free company guide where you can do some research on all of those different companies offering flexible jobs. The other thing I should point out is that FlexJobs is a membership site, so we're different from other job boards in that we don't charge employers to post jobs to our site. Instead, we have a subscription service for job seekers where there are monthly, 3-month, and yearly membership levels. And for a small fee, you can have access to all the job listings on the site, and there's no ads or scams. We keep everything very clean, very organized, and they're all flexible job listings. We have a team of job researchers who spend about 50 combined hours every day looking for these types of jobs, weeding out the scams, making sure everything's legitimate, and getting it posted to our site. So in this way, we're able to focus 100% on the job seeker and help everyone find flexible jobs. So that's a little bit about us. Myself, personally, I used to be a college career advisor in a previous life, I like to say. I did that for about 5 years, absolutely loved it. My passion is really career advising and job search assistance, helping people find jobs, particularly jobs that they enjoy doing. And now I am the Director of Online Content at FlexJobs, which means I help run the FlexJobs blog, which has fantastic advice, I think, for finding flexible jobs, getting more flexibility if you already have a job, and all of that sort of stuff. As well as just general job search tips too. And so that's something to check out for sure. And I should also say that I'm a mom. I have an 18-month-old son, and it's been a whirlwind the last year and a half, and I know everyone on the call could probably relate. But I'm lucky enough to have a job that has a lot of flexibility. I work from home full-time, but I have a flexible schedule. And I have to say, without that flexibility, I might not be in the workforce right now. So I am eager to help share with you all how you can find that same flexibility in a job for yourself. So first, what are flexible jobs? It's a broad term that we use to define a number of different types of work flexibility, and those include working from home, telecommuting, and remote jobs, freelance or contract jobs, professional part-time jobs, or flexible or alternative schedule jobs. And flexible schedule jobs just means that you have control over when you work. You know, you may work 8 hours a day, but you sort of decide when those 8 hours take place. Alternative schedule job, on the other hand, is when the employer sets the schedule for you, but it's outside of that traditional 9-to-5 office schedule. So the top career fields for flexible jobs, and I should say that with these types of flexibility, it's any combination of those as well. So you might find part-time work-from-home jobs or flexible freelance jobs, or any combination within this mix of different flexibility. So, you know, sort of play around with it and think about what might work best for you. The top career fields for flexible jobs, these are the industries with the most flexible job listings. And we look at this on a monthly basis. Month over month over month, these top 14 sort of fluctuate within the top, but they're always in the top. And so this gives you a really good idea of the types of career fields that hire most often for flexible jobs. I should say that that is not to say that there isn't opportunity outside of this list. We have over 100 career fields on FlexJobs that we look at every month. And while these have the most opportunity, they're always sort of at the top, there's opportunity in every single one of those career fields. So it may be easier to find flexible jobs in these top 14, but it is certainly possible to find flexible jobs in other career fields as well. The most common telecommuting job titles. This is a list of the top 20 job titles that we see specifically for telecommuting jobs. So anything that relates to working from home. I should also say that with working from home, it's not an all or nothing scenario. So you could work from home 1 day a week or 5 days a week. You could work from home half days or whole days. There's sort of a wide range. You might work from home most of the time, but go in once a month for meetings at the office. So there's a wide range of different telecommuting and work from home arrangements. And these jobs represent all of those different things. And so you'll see here there's a wide range of the types of career fields, the types of jobs, and also the level of jobs. We see everything from entry level to executive. So whether you are looking to get back into a career that you once had, or you want to try something completely new and make a career change, there is opportunity in flexible jobs for either of those scenarios. The top 25 companies that offer flexible jobs. This should give you a really good idea of the diversity of companies that actually support flexibility and hire specifically for flexible jobs. This is a list that we've looked at over the last 2 years. These companies have listed the most number of flexible jobs each. And so you'll see everything from education to computer and IT to health services to retail to writing. There's a huge range here. Government services, finance and business, and all sorts of things. I would also, kind of the caveat that I gave to the career fields, it works here as well. Just because it's a tech company like Apple, for example, you would think, well, of course, they're going to hire engineers and programmers, and if you don't have a background in that, you might shy away from applying. But one of the biggest work-from-home jobs that we see from Apple is actually tech support. And again, you might think, well, you have to have a big technical background for that. The main qualification for an Apple tech support job is actually having extensive use of their products. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad or a Mac computer at home, you might be looking at one right now as you're looking at this webinar. That qualifies you for some jobs at Apple. So it's just an example of taking yourself out of that, well, I'm not qualified for this, or I'm not sure if I'm qualified for that. There are so many different opportunities within these companies. Just because it's a tech company doesn't mean it's not hiring for human resources and business analysis and marketing and all of those different things that it takes for a company to run. So think about that when you're looking at different companies. Don't rule anything out because you won't know what they're offering until you do a little bit more research. So how to start your search. This is really sort of the meat and potatoes of the presentation. And for moms in particular, whether you've been out for a few months or a few years, getting back into the job market can feel like a daunting, overwhelming sort of task. You're just not quite sure where to start. And even for me, coming back to a job that I had been doing for years felt like an overwhelming and daunting task at first. So on some level, I feel exactly what you're going through. The first thing you need to do when you're thinking about finding a flexible job is consider your personal situation. Before you think about what you might like to do as far as a career, what jobs you actually want to apply for, think about what type of flexibility you want. How do you want to work? Do you want to work from home or in an office? Would you like to work part-time or full-time? Or what is the need that your family has? If this is something where you need to go back to work, do you need a part-time or a full-time schedule? Do you need to freelance and pick up projects every now and then, or have a steady paycheck coming in? There's a lot of different combinations of flexibility, as we talked about, and figuring out which ones would be best for your family is really the starting point here, because that's the ultimate goal, right, is to find a flexible job, not just a job, but a job that works for your life, really. The next thing, of course, is the typical, what actually do you want to do? What career do you want to pursue? What job do you want to pursue? And so this can go, many different ways. You can say, okay, well, I want to get into the career I used to have, or I want to get into a new career. So think about that sort of thing. If you want to go back into a career that you had, but you've been out for a number of years, it's really important to do some research and find out what has changed since you last worked in that career field. For example, if you were a graphic designer 7 years ago and then you have stepped away from that career field to focus on your kids, focus on your family, what's changed in graphic design over the last 7 years? And will you need to pick up any new skills in order to compete in the job market? The answer, I'm assuming, for that career field is yes. For those more tech-oriented or healthcare-oriented fields where new technology plays an important role in the day-to-day life of a person working in that field, there's probably going to be some skills you're going to have to learn that didn't exist, 7 or 5 years ago or however long it's been. Career advising, on the other hand, I was a career advisor. I've been out for about 7 years from that particular college career advising field. It doesn't really change a whole lot year over year. So I might, get back involved with my professional organizations, maybe do a couple webinars to learn the latest, career counseling techniques or personality assessments or that sort of thing. But I'm not going to have to take any particular college level courses or get a certification in something. It'll be generally easy for me to re-enter that field if that's something that I wanted to do. So think about your old career field and where you fall in that spectrum, and that will kind of give you an idea of where to go from there. If you are looking for a whole new job, first you want to think about what do you actually want to do. Dream big, make a list. There are no wrong answers at first. What are some things that are interesting? When you hear your friends talk about the work that they do, what sparks in your brain a little, ooh, that might be nice, I'd like to try that. What sorts of career fields have you heard of that you found interesting? Or maybe as in your time as a mom, you've done some volunteering or worked at a school, or you've had these experiences where you thought, I wonder if I could do this as an actual job. The next step, once you've identified those career fields that might be of interest, is getting some research done and finding out about those career fields. There are a number of different online resources for doing career research and finding out what you want to do. I'd also recommend for anyone with a college degree, go back to your college career office. You can do it over the phone, online, in person. Usually college career offices provide lifetime services, and there may be a very small fee, but it's going to be much smaller than a private career counselor would charge you. You'll have access to their personality assessments, their career assessments, their career research information, all of their resume and cover letter assistance, and the whole 9 yards. College career offices are a really great resource for alumni. But it really starts first with considering your personal situation. After that, you want to make a job search plan. So you've decided that this is something you want or need to do. You want to get back into the workforce. You need to get back in the workforce. What does that look like? What does your job search actually look like on a day-to-day basis? How much time do you want to spend searching online or contacting your network or updating your resumes and cover letters? All of those different steps that go into a job search. Sort of plot that out each day and see if you can set aside 30 or 60 or 90 minutes on a dream day, if you can find 90 minutes, to actually devote to your job search. The more dedicated time you have to conducting a job search, the more fruitful it will be. And keep records. As you start applying, as you start updating your cover letters, keep records of things that you've done, even if it's just creating a LinkedIn profile, which may take anywhere from, 10 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on how in-depth you get. Put that on your list of, this is what I did today. I achieved something. I have moved myself forward. I've taken a step. Because a job search is a million little steps. So you want to have a record of all of the hard work that you've done. It will help kind of propel you forward. Next, get your things in order. So either update or create a new resume. For a lot of people who've been out for a while, just starting from scratch feels really good. Just start fresh, create a new resume. The other thing is that a lot has changed in how we write resumes. And so that's something that you'll want to look at is sort of current resume platforms and ways to put it together. Formatting, that's the word I'm looking for, current resume formatting. You might also work with a resume writer to put something together. We have a partnership with Resume Deli, and so they're a really good service, and also Professional Resume Services is another one that we partner with. And they can help you with resumes, cover letters, mock interviewing, all of those things. And like I said, also your college career office might be able to help you there too. Create a LinkedIn profile. This is a really key piece. Employers are Googling your name once you apply for a job, and they want to see something professional come back. So if you have a LinkedIn profile, it's usually one of the first things that comes up in your job search results. And it's really easy to put together, and it's free. So take that step. And then your references. You want to think about who could actually speak well about you to an employer. It doesn't have to be somebody from your previous jobs. It could certainly be. If you've kept up with your bosses or your coworkers, please use them as references. But you can also use people like if you volunteer in your child's classroom and you have a really good relationship with their teacher, you might feel comfortable asking their teacher to be your reference, or a school administrator if you know them really well. If you worked, in volunteering or a charity organization of some kind, the people that you have worked with in those organizations could be great references. And your friends and family, don't rule anyone out. If somebody can speak about your qualifications and your skills, they should be considered as a reference, definitely. And then the last thing you want to do is talk with your friends and family. Does anyone you know work flexibly? I had an experience just this Halloween, actually. We had a neighborhood Halloween gathering, and I ended up running into one of the moms of a girl who's my son's classmate at daycare. I had no idea. She only lived about 4 houses up the road from me. We just never seen each other. But we got to talking, and it turns out we both work from home. So not only do our kids go to the same daycare, we've never run into each other at drop-off or pickup, but we both work from home every day. So when you run into people, start conversations with them. Not only what do they do for a living, but how do they work? Do they work in an office? Do they work from home? Do they have a part-time schedule? All those little details. Find other people. You'll be very surprised to hear who in your life works flexibly that you just don't know about yet. Get buy-in from your spouse and kids. This is a key component. You've decided you want to do this huge thing of re-entering the workforce. It's a big deal, and it should be treated that way by your whole family. Get support from your spouse as much as he or she is willing to give. If your spouse wants to introduce you to other working moms at his company, where that you can talk to them about how they got back into the job market, tips that they have for you, what it's like to go back to work, all of that sort of stuff. Definitely. If he wants to look over your resume or your cover letters or help you with any of that stuff, having that support right in your house is a really confidence-building kind of thing. And then your kids also. It doesn't matter their age, but it's important for them to know that this is an important goal for you and that you want their support. You're asking for their support. And it could just be, you get an extra hug every day from your daughter because you applied to 5 jobs, or the quiet time that you need to be applying to those jobs. You can ask them for that. You have a lot more in-depth information on how to do all of these things, from just starting out in your job search to negotiating salary and benefits and all of that stuff. If you go to the FlexJobs blog, we had an initiative called 100 Days of Jobs for Moms. So you can go to the FlexJobs blog and then just search in the blog search for jobs for moms, and this will come up. And there's tons of information about all of these different topics. And it's all free. So I encourage you to take full advantage of that. So how to market yourself. Use all of your skills, paid or unpaid, whether you were volunteering or you were actually getting a paycheck, it does not matter. Also, your career and your mom skills. The phrase mom skills kind of bugs me because, of course, dad skills are similar, although I know there are big differences between mom skills and dad skills, but you know what I mean. All of those skills that you have honed over the last months or years as a mom, those things that you do really well. You keep that household running. That's a big deal. So what are those skills that you use to do that? And any skills that you've gained from full-time jobs, part-time jobs, temporary, occasional, and volunteering jobs, any sort of experience that you have, those skills are up for grabs in your job search. How to translate your mom skills to your job skills. Think about the household management skills that you've learned. Like I said, essentially a lot of moms are CEO of their house, or their COO, the Chief Operations Officer, who oftentimes is the one who keeps everything running. So think about the skills that sort of job entails. Give yourself the job title as a mom and think, what are the skills that are required for this job, and then use those skills in your resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn profiles, all of that. Classroom volunteering, and then interpersonal relationships. This is a big one. Whether you're dealing with teachers or school administrators or parents in your kids' classrooms that you don't like, but your kids are friends, so you kind of have to get along with them. All of those things, just think about the experiences that you've had and how those translate to quote-unquote professional job skills. What I've really noticed with working moms and stay-at-home moms is that confidence is the missing piece. You think, well, I only have these skills, or I haven't worked in a long time. being a mom is the hardest job that I've ever had, and I used to not believe it, I'll be honest. When I wasn't a mom and I would hear people say that, I'd think, oh, well, of course. No, it is. It is harder than any regular job that I've had, any traditional professional position. So be proud of the work that you've done and use that to your advantage. We had a woman on FlexJobs who was recently hired as a teacher with Education First, and what she did on her resume profile, you can create a resume profile on FlexJobs, and you create a title for that profile, and that's exactly what shows up to employers when they search for resumes on our site. It's the first thing that an employer will see about you on our site. And this mom, I clapped when I saw that she had done this. She took the thing that most moms feel is a detriment in their job search, and she put it front and center on her resume profile. She wore it proudly, and it was the first thing she wanted employers to know about her. Stay-at-home mom with an MS in education, 6 years teaching experience, strong typing, and computer skills. And an employer saw that and thought, yep, that's my candidate. That's who I want to interview. It's important to reframe your own thoughts about your experience over the last months or years and how you present that to the rest of the world, because the way that you present it is how it's going to be perceived, or at least it's under more of your control to have people perceive it the way you perceive it, which should be confidently and strongly and proud of the work that you've done, and knowing that that work is important to your job search and not a detriment to it. So I get a little preachy sometimes, but I really feel really strongly about that. And here's proof, that putting it front and center can work. So finally, where to actually search for flexible jobs. So you can go to FlexJobs, of course. You can see our job listings for free. What you won't see until you're signed into your account, when you're a member, you won't see the company name or the contact information, how to apply for the job. But you can at least get a sense of what types of jobs are out there and whether or not it might be worth it to sign up. The other thing I'll say is that use niche job boards. And by niche job boards, I mean smaller, more specialized job boards. So it might be one that's specialized to an industry or an affiliation. There are mom job boards out there, or marketing or business or whatever it is. But something that's smaller and probably cleaner and easier to use. When you go to a site like CareerBuilder or Monster, it's overwhelming. They have millions of job listings, the vast majority of which you won't be interested in because you have a particular type of job in mind. So if you go to a niche job board that caters to your industry or your career field or your professional affiliation, you're going to have much more success. You're going to find a much smaller group of jobs, but more targeted to what you're actually looking for. Blogging for Jobs is a great site with resources about where to actually find these niche job boards. And they have 21 of the best niche job boards in a list. So I would go to Blogging for Jobs and then Google, or you can copy down the URL here on the screen, Google that list, and you'll be able to find some really good boards for your search. Then you can go straight to career pages of companies that you admire. As a mom, and just as a person, I have so many products and services that I rely on, that I love, and that I think do a fantastic job, that I always wonder, what would it be like to work for that particular company? Whether it's the bottles that I used for my son, or the jeans that I wore after being pregnant and all that sort of stuff. Just things that really made my life easier and more comfortable and happier. And wouldn't you like to work for a company that has made such a good impact on your own life? So think about the things in your own house that you use on a regular basis that you really like, and then do a little research on those companies online and find out what types of jobs they hire for. You really never know. And when you're applying to those jobs, that passion you have for their product or service will really show through. And then look in your local area, but also look regionally, nationally, and internationally. For telecommuting jobs in particular, 70 to 75% of telecommuting jobs have some geographic requirements. So it's interesting, people think working from home, well, they should be able to be in any location because there's no office, they just work from home. But some employers want you to come into the office for meetings every now and then. Some have specific tax regulations where you can only work in particular states. But then some are open to national or international hiring. So don't limit your search. If anything, broaden it out, the location, look both locally and nationally and everywhere in between. And I think that's probably the overall message for this whole thing, is to not limit yourself, to really understand all of the possibilities that are out there. And then finally, just some notes on how to avoid job scams. There are tons of tips on the FlexJobs blog, so I would definitely encourage you to check that out. And the whole blog is free, so any of the advice articles that we have on there are free for anybody to take a look at. The first thing is be aware of scam-friendly keywords. I try to just talk about telecommuting jobs because work-from-home job is actually a really common scam phrase. So avoid work-from-home or work-at-home, but instead use things like remote job, virtual job, or telecommuting job, which are far less likely to be associated with scam jobs. Then here's a list of the most common types of scams, including data entry, pyramid sales schemes, envelope stuffing, wire transfers, rebate forms processing, craft assembly, and unsolicited job offers. So warning signs of scams. If there's no company name or if they have a generic email address, if they conduct job interviews over instant messenger, that's a big no-no. All reputable companies will at least want to have a phone interview with you. If they offer you a job immediately and they urge you to accept it, there's that urgency. You don't have 24 hours. You have to make a decision now. Walk away from that sort of thing because no reputable company, once again, will push you to accept a job without having any time to think about it. And scammers are hoping that you won't think about it and you'll just accept it, and that's how they get you in. And then Western Union or wire transfers, those are always things to watch out for and big red flags when it comes to job scams. Finally, trust your instincts. If something doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. If you have any questions about job scams, you can always email, and our email is feedback@flexjobs.com. You can email us the job listing that you found or the company and ask us if it's a scam. We'll give it to our job research team. They will conduct all of the assessments that they do for all of the jobs and companies that you find on our site, and they'll let you know whether or not it would pass their test. And we're happy to help in that way. Our main goal is to help people avoid scams and find legitimate, flexible jobs. So even if you're not finding it on our site, we are happy to help you out. And that brings us to the end. Thank you so much. I want to offer this promo code in case you are interested in signing up for FlexJobs. You can use the promo code WEBINAR for 30% off when you register. And of course, go to www.flexjobs.com for more information. I really do wish you the best of luck in your job search and your career search and everything that you do going forward. Thank you very much, everyone.